What's up, everyone? My name is Findlay-Shirras, and welcome to another episode of Real Estate Moguls. And on today's show, we are here with Hunter Stevens, the co-founder and CEO of MapTrack, who's got a really cool technology I want you guys to check out because they are tracking and collecting mailing addresses when people visit your website. And it seems like pretty simple. You just got a little single snippet of code. So thanks very much for being on the show.
No, thanks for having me.
And so why don't you just let everyone know what is MapTrack and why did you start it?
Yeah, so MapTrack is a snippet of code and you put it on your website and it asks essentially the website visitor if they want to share their location. We ended up seeing about a 25 to 35% opt-in rate. And from there, that's just people willing to share their location. And when someone shares their location, we're getting a latitude, longitude point. And from there, we can reverse geocode that into an address. Once we do have an address, we filter out all the multifamily homes and commercial addresses because no one wants an address from Starbucks or something like that. Yeah. And once we filter those out, we essentially leave you a list with residential single-family homes. We started this, so essentially I started a news source in the Woodlands, Texas, which is about 35 miles north of Houston. Me and a couple buddies got that started, and we just wanted to see who was coming to our website and how many people would be willing to share their location. We were a small site, but we ended up generating thousands upon thousands of addresses from this, and we realized this is a tool and we need to get this in the hands of other people.
And when you think about, okay, so you get this data for the agent or for the brokerage, what next? Like, why is this data so important?
So I'd say there's like 2 or 3 good reasons. The first thing is you'd be really surprised what you can essentially see on a map and see your brand growth of the community. So right now, I mean, Google Analytics is a great tool that uses IP addresses, but you can't exactly see where your traffic's coming from on a neighborhood level or an address level. Now, the majority of our clients use this for like auto mailing campaigns. So when an address comes in, great way to send a postcard, things like that. And the last way people use is to append data. And it's something we offer, but some people do that independently. And so when an address comes in, we can append homeowner information as well as homeowner contact information to kind of reach out. And it's a good way to kind of generate a lead there.
Do you guys serve every geographic area? Like, what's your coverage as a company in the world?
Yeah, so right now we cover the U.S., but we're looking to move into Canada next year. That's a big goal of ours. So.
It's a good country, eh?
Absolutely, no doubt.
And what has growth been like? So talk to us about how many agents you serve, how many people you work with, and how you've grown. Because there's a lot of startups who want to get into this space or who are in this space, who are trying to grow their company. Talk to us about how you guys have done it.
Yeah, so we have about 20 agents and 2 brokerages on the platform. So right now we have the majority of our clients are auto dealerships. So we have over 400 auto dealerships on the platform, and we're trying to move this more into real estate. But yeah, we see this as a good retargeting tool for agents because agents pay a lot of money to get web traffic. And if 25 to 35% of people are willing to give their location, which is essentially now willing to give their address, that's something that you definitely want to capture if you're paying for that traffic.
So if someone goes to the website and I'm just like, I'm visiting it while I'm in my neighborhood, I'm not at my house, but I share my location, then you're saying you filter out those ones. So it's how many people go to the website who are in their home at that moment, you figure out which ones those are, and then you share that data with the...
Yes, depending on which browser. If they opt in and let's say they're on the road or they're at the mall or something, we're not going to be able to get that home address from that user. But the next time they come to your site, they'll automatically be opted in, depending on what browser, but most people use Chrome. And so when they go to your website again and they're at their house, we can capture on the second time.
Now, when you think about the future of your company, what's some of the stuff that you think about in terms of, are you thinking about building technologies to then say, okay, now we've gathered this data, now we're also going to help you with this, or do you just want to integrate with lots of companies? So what's the future for MapTrack?
Yeah, so we definitely see this as kind of like an infrastructure play. So right now we're talking with some direct mailers to integrate to power some of their solutions. I think next step for us is mobile applications. Something what's cool about mobile apps is a lot of people opt into the location, and once they've opted in, it's pretty a permanent thing, and they don't have to continuously ask for it. So yeah, the next step for us is more integrations into CRMs. Now we do have an integration with Zapier, but the next step for us, as we see, is mobile applications.
Cool. And like, what are your sales and marketing methods, to get your customers? Because I think a lot of people would think about, okay, like what are companies doing that works for them? So what are some of your, go-to ways that you help you guys get more customers? Whether it be auto or real estate.
Yeah, totally. So for us to acquire customers for MapTrack, I mean, cold email has been the absolute best. Something that hasn't really come natural, but I've kind of figured out, is just constant follow-up. If you have to email someone, 8 or 10 times, it doesn't really matter. As long as you have like a unique offering and you're able to kind of show people how they're going to use it, cold email has been the way we've been acquired the most customers.
Now, at this conference, a lot of people are talking about the future of the industry and the role of the agent, if it will exist. Yeah. Some people have the camp.
Controversial.
Yeah, some people have the camp of the agent's going away. Some people think the agent is alive and well, and they are just reinventing their role and what they do for people. Some people talk about the brokerages, that model dying off. Others just saying, again, they're just reinventing and just maybe doing things a little differently. What's some of your take on the industry?
Yeah, there's a lot of strong opinions on this. I'm still working on buying my first home, but what I can tell you is that that's going to be one of the biggest purchases of my life, and I'm not just going to try to do it the cheap way. And I know my generation and a bunch of millennials, people want to kind of skew it as, oh, they want something easy, they want something cheap, but at the end of the day, it's really hard to earn $1, and it's really hard to save $1. Yeah. And when you're going to spend it on your biggest investment, I just don't think really the cheap option is all that attractive to the majority of my generation. I could be wrong, but that's at least my opinion on that.
No, the data actually does say the number of people who are selling and buying homes without agents as a percentage has gone down.
Interesting.
Even with us millennials being super into tech. I'm sure again, it may grow as companies get better at that process, but for it to take over, it's a pretty big leap, right? Sociology lags very far behind technology.
Certainly.
Now, again, so we got investors listening, we got agents, teams, brokers, we got so many different people who are in the real estate space who might be able to help you out with some of the challenges that you have. So when you think about, hey, this is what I want to do as a company, this is what I want to build as a company, here's where I want to grow, the people I want to work with, and these are the challenges I'm facing, these are kind of my needs. What do you have to say to the ecosystem?
Yeah, so let's see. One of the challenges we face is people don't really see people opting in to geolocation. Like I mentioned earlier, we see a 25 to 35% opt-in rate, which is really fantastic. One funny story, and it's kind of like part of our origin story, is when I essentially created this geolocation script. I went to the Apple store in my hometown, the Woodlands, Texas. So I went to the Woodlands Mall, and I would ask people, "Hey, do you mind going to this website?" It was kind of weird, but people didn't really care. They're like, "Sure, I'll go to that website," and I would see if they opted in or not. And time again, I saw people share their location in the Apple store in this random website from a guy that they don't know. So there's no incentive. If anything, it's creepy. And I'd ask them about it, like, why did you share your location? Like, number one, this is kind of weird, and two, like, there's no benefit for you. And people would tell me time and time again, I did not share my location. And I'm like, hey, that's all I'm looking at right here. This is like the whole experiment. And they would get testy with me. And so kind of what I kind of learned from that is we're just trained to do so. You have Google telling you so many times on mobile, share your location. And people do it, and they don't even realize it. Yeah. So part of the struggle or the barriers for us is educating people on how many people share the location, even if they think they don't. So that's something we're trying to get out there.
My other friend has a Wi-Fi enablement company. It was bought by Yelp. Shout out to Devo and Turnstile. Now Yelp Wi-Fi.
That's cool.
And he was like, dude, privacy is dead. He was like, everyone is just tapping into everything, and when you ask people about it, they're like, oh, so I don't want to be tracked and measured and have my location shared. He's like, but dude, everyone does it.
Everyone does.
And it's just the world. Like we can have all the privacy conversations we want about, oh, this is not good for us, but the behaviors are saying, no, man, everyone wants to be open and public.
Yes, absolutely, and kind of just to piggyback off that. So I remember when I was getting advertisements before, cookies got hot or Facebook pixels got hot, and the advertisements were all over the place. And at least I appreciate if I'm going to be sold an ad or see an ad, I'd rather it pertain to something that I may like. So I don't really mind it. I don't think anyone's going to come to my home and snatch me for something if I share my location or anything like that. So yeah, I feel pretty safe.
Advertising's definitely not going anywhere, so you might as well make it smarter and better so that we actually enjoy it.
Certainly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man. Well, hey, it was great to meet you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And as always, guys, subscribe to the YouTube show and the podcast so you can get to know some more tech startups and founders and some of the cool stuff they can bring you as a person in real estate.